The world is a mirror, forever reflecting what you are doing within yourself. Change your concept of yourself, and you will automatically change the world in which you live. Do not try to change people, they are only messengers telling you who you are. Revalue yourself, and they will confirm the change. Neville Goddard.
In my 15 years of personal development, I have come across many different personal development methods to better myself. But there is one principle that I constantly keep coming back to, and that is the mirror principle. The mirror principle is actually a very ancient idea, but very few realize this. Every single holy book or ancient teaching somehow always alludes to the principle of the mirror, that our world is a jewel, that there is an internal world and an external world. See, the world moves with motiveless necessities. By this, it has no motive of its own, but under the necessity of manifesting your concept, the arrangement of your mind. And your mind is always arranged by the image of all you believe and consent as true. See, the rich man, the poor man, the beggar mind, or the thief has no different minds, but the arrangement of the same mind that are different by the self belief and self image. Health, wealth, beauty, and genius is not created, they are manifested by the arrangement of your mind. Also, in the yogic sciences, they talk about the duality of mind, the spirit, and the body, and that yoga is the method by which one can liberate the non material spirit from the material body. Every single year, when I get too lost in this material and try to influence the material world to get the outcomes that I want, I get reminded that the most effective and to permanently impact your material world is to first change the internal world. That is the mirror principle teaches you. But the number one reason why most people fail to see any kind of permanent lasting change is because they don't fully understand the four laws of the mirror principle. So in today's video, not only I'm going to share with you what these four laws of the mirror are, but also how to actually use them with actionable methods. Fellow creator, I'm excited for you to make this your year. And I believe if you just turn your eye inward and first create the image within, the mirror will have no choice but to reflect it without these four laws of the mirror. And I'm going to show you how to do that. So with that, let's jump right into it. So today I'm going to share with you just that in hopes that you can get significant results. Let's get started with principle number one. What you have to understand is that the mirror of reality is dual. Now what does that mean? Just like a normal mirror, one side has the image that you present to it, the other side presents to you a reflection. So for us, the side that we are seeing right now, the reflection that we are seeing right now is limited. It's the physical world, but it also has a non-physical side to it. The image that we present, the internal world that we can tap into is a non-physical side that contains all the spaces. I want you to really remember this. The all space is what's referred to as the quantum realm, where every single possible combination can be manifested. Now, when we tune into it through what I'm going to share with you within our hearts and minds, when we are energetically tuned into a particular sector of reality, we stream into existence. When we are tapping into it, we present that image to the mirror of reality. Once we present that image and hold it for long enough, the mirror has no choice but to reflect it. So now let's talk about principle number two. What actually chooses that sector of reality? What is it that makes one particular sector of reality and not the other one? Why are you like this and not that? Well, that's because the reflection that you're seeing right now in the mirror is formed in the unity of heart and mind. When our thoughts and our feelings come together, when there is a congruence and what we are thinking and how we are feeling, we form a very powerful reflection in the mirror. The mirror of reality immediately begins to reflect that which we feel unity towards. So for the people who are very deep pessimistic, if you look at their lives right now and you ask, hey, what is it like this? Hey, why is he like this? It's very clear to see that this person, all they do is complain about their circumstances. about how they are a victim and how the society has failed them. They have a million and one different situations to blame. Because they truly believe that they feel deeply that they have been let down by the society, they blame the society and they think thoughts of society letting them down. So guess what happens? That's what the reflection that is they are seeing when they fear losing money. They fear going back to where they started. They always keep experiencing the same pattern in their lives where they are constantly in debt or they are constantly failing at their businesses, taking out more loans, and the same patterns just keep happening again and again. They keep attracting the same toxic relationship over and over again. They can't seem to find the partner that they want. Why does this keep happening? It's you. It's the thoughts and feelings that you have. And it is these thoughts and feelings that's causing these people what they're experiencing. Now, when they start to learn about the laws of attraction and personal development and start to practice all of this stuff, the number one reason why they never get any kind of result is because there is an unclear image that you are presenting to the mirror of reality. You are lacking unity in heart and mind. You think one thing, but you feel the other. When you have started to practice something and you haven't quite seen the result yet. Let's say, in my instant, I intended for business success to happen. So I ask yourself this, when you try to manifest money or you try to create the kind of relationship that you want, what is the thing that you're focusing on, feeling wise? See, this happened again, or I keep failing at these jobs or not making any money in sales. This pattern just keeps happening. I don't know why, instead of taking responsibility for it and changing that pattern consciously and unconsciously, fall back to the same old stories that you've been telling yourself. And that's why you keep experiencing the same reality you have been experiencing. Nothing changes because you don't change first, because the image doesn't change first. How can you expect the mirror to smile if you don't smile first? That's the reality of it. When I experienced the true success in my life, it was when I was able to change the internal conversation and the stories that I was telling myself. So I went on from looking at what I wanted to get away from, what I wanted to move towards. It's kind of like having a target fixation. Imagine you are at a big party and you see someone you don't want to talk to because of something awkward that happened before. You try to stay away from them, but somehow you end up getting stuck talking to them anyways. Even though you try to avoid them, you still end up near them. Why does this happen? Human beings have a servo mechanism, as Maximals would put it in psycho-cybernetics. We have this servo mechanism that we are target fixated creatures. It doesn't matter what we want to move away from and what we want to move towards. Whatever we focus on, we are going to move towards. So when I change my form, I want to get away from my struggles, from my problems. I want to get away from being a corporate slave and trading my time for running a corporate that is not giving any results to making huge success in sales for whatever I do. Changing my focus, struggling for money, hate, to most successful real agent and freedom and love and success and passion and joy. I had to focus on that. And once I shifted my focus on that, that's when I started to move towards. I had clarity of image, okay? You need to clarity of image and what you are trying to create. The main reason people have a hard time is because their thoughts and feelings aren't in sync. They might think one thing, but they are focused on totally something else. It's like sending a mixed message to a mirror which can give back a blurry reflection. You end up feeling like you are not fully committed to anything. You move a bit forward and then you slide back, repeating the same cycle over and over and over. In the movie Grounding Dog, where it feels like you are making progress but then you are back where you just started. It's because you're not in complete alignment with your thoughts, beliefs, and feelings. And the solution is very simple. But there is a second part to this that's causing improper results and improper unity, which is understanding the third principle of the mirror, the delay principle. Now, because of the nature of reality, when we concoct an image in our mind's eye, when we have a dream, when we can immediately think about that, we can access that state. Now you can close your eyes and picture up a visual of it right now. But in this material reality, because matter is so inert, because of the quality of matter, it takes some amount of time to arrange that matter. Time works harmoniously with space. That's why they call space and time. To properly use the delay principle, we have to understand the relationship between the image and the reflection. So if I think about something for a particular amount of time, I'm going to first start to see it happen in reality. Then I start to think about it even more and feel deeply into it. It is going to start happening in my very own life. That's exactly what happened to me. I visualized my successful business, my wife, the house I wanted to live in, everything. And I focused on that and feeling that I felt once I had everything, waking up in the morning and feeling just so deeply fulfilled with all the business success that I also wanted to have. I felt rich first internally before I became rich. And that's what you need to do. That's how you use the mirror principle. The delay principle of mirror is as follows. Pay close attention. If I present an image to this mirror, the mirror will reflect that image with a time delay. What is that time delay, you ask? I have no clue, depending on the complexity of your goal and your current life, where you are along the path of achieving your goals. So, for example, if you're worth 999 million, it's going to be easier for you to become a billionaire. Easier for you to reflect the image of a billionaire than if you don't have a sense to your name. So it depends on your complexity of your goal and how far you are from that ultimate goal in the first place. Does that make sense? That's what you need to do in order to understand the delay principle of the mirror. So guys, what I want you to do right now is just go to the comment section, leave me some of your takeaways so far. I would love to know what your takeaways are so far. So this time delay, I want to demonstrate that through using a graph, if you don't mind. So I want you to demonstrate through using a graph, if you don't mind. So on the x-axis, we have t for time. And on the y-axis, we have image reflection. If you look here, we have two different graphs. The dotted line is the reflection, which is what we are seeing in our reality. And the solid line is the actual image we are presenting to the mirror. So as you start here, you make an intention to, let's say, in my case, I wanted to sell 100 million worth of real estate and get away from the struggle of not having money and experience the life of my dreams. I knew the number for me was 100 million worth of transactions in real estate in a year. And I could experience the freedom to travel as much as I wanted and live where I wanted and everything around it. So that's what I focused on, and that was the goal. Now let's say I keep focusing on selling 100 million worth of real estate, but my attitude keeps getting lower and lower because I keep focusing on it, but nothing happens. What do you think is happening? What's happening is reality already starts to reflect my attitude. Even though I may not see it coming to fruition, it's still reflecting it. Reality goes from 0 to 100. But coincidentally, what's happening for most people is once they get to the point they are right about to give up, the thing comes to manifestation. The reflection actually forms. You only see the reflection of the peak that has manifested. When it's time to showing up in reality, it shows up, but now you are at your lowest point. You are there about to give up. You didn't have faith that it would happen. You just kind of focused on it and you are like, oh, come on, happen. And then at the first sign of a setback and an obstacle, you are quick to express your dissatisfaction. And guess what? The mirror principle starts to reflect that dissatisfaction as well. You don't trust reality. You don't trust life. Okay? So here you go. Here's the reflection that life isn't trustworthy, that life isn't working for you, that 100 million sales transaction isn't going to happen. The more you complain, the more you get things to complain about. What's funny is now reality starts to reflect that with a delay. So right now, the time when you get to that point where you are grateful for everything that you have, reality then gets to a point where it's all shit. It's all back to crap again. It's going back to square one. You lose the deals, the income doesn't keep coming. What you manifest or you're thinking you are manifesting doesn't show up. Has that ever happened to you? Like you've got a sale that has not happened, and like you've got a job you haven't gotten, like your business you haven't reached a certain level. One month you keep doing well, and next month you go down. Why do you think this is happening? Your external inconsistency. Look, your reality is solely a reflection of your internal inconsistency. You fluctuate, you move up and down in life. You can't step beyond your thoughts and feelings. You have to give in to them. You are your thoughts and feelings powered by your beliefs of who you are. You are always within boundaries of your thoughts and feelings. You let them control you. Your beliefs about yourself fuel your thoughts and feelings. But you need to find strength to step back and understand tough times will pass. When you don't react or give in to significance of setbacks, you stop fixating on them. And guess what? You attract more positivity. This is the mirror principle, and the key to using it is consistently and detachment. Wait until the image fully forms before you actually judge it. How can you criticize a seedling that's just sprouted from the ground and looks nothing like a tree yet? You can't. You have to wait until it grows into a majestic tree. Right now, it's just a tiny shoot, isn't it? Nature work isn't finished, so hold on making judgments. Have some faith, it's going to happen. If you see minor setbacks, just turn away from the reflection. Focus in on the image. I can't tell you how many times I have to remind myself of that. If you're working on building something great, focus on that long-term optimism and get rid of the short-term pessimism. Often in my real estate business, when my site was on the growth and I made an intention to expand, I find myself facing unexpected challenges. It's like when I'm gaining traction with my deals, a sure deal will not mature. The client will back out. It's as if life throws these hurdles at me just as I'm starting to build momentum. I can't tell you how many times that's happened, but through those tests that life throws at you to see if your internal state will be unperturbed, you become unshakable. The reality that you want has to manifest. And that's how I got to sell over 200 crores worth of real estate in India and 90 million dirhams of real estate in Dubai in a short span of 6 years. So that's the third principle of mirror. Now, the final principle of the mirror really summarizes how to properly use it. It goes deeper into what actually you reflect. I know I shared with you in principle number 2 that it reflects heart and mind. But what about the heart and mind? What unity? Unity of what? And here's the answer to that. The mirror reflects your attitude towards yourself and towards your world. Now, my attitude towards myself is called self-identity or identity. My attitude towards my world is called the paradigm that I have. So for example, if my attitude towards my world is a terrible place, right now is a terrible time to start a business, the markets are crap and there's going to be a recession, then that's exactly what the mirror will reflect. And I will see more cases of why it's actually a bad time to start a business. I think about starting a business, but I doubt myself. I don't feel capable or confident enough. I tell myself I'm just not typed to succeed in a business. If I keep thinking this way, that's how I see myself. And that is going to be reflected in the mirror. To know how to effectively influence the mirror, we must always consider what we believe about ourselves and our world. If we have a positive attitude towards ourselves, understanding that we may lack some skills now, but we can develop them with persistence, we'll be much better off. Even if it doesn't seem like the right time, remember that many successful companies, many successful people have started during tough times like recession. Research shows that some of the wealthiest people have emerged from such periods. So stay focused and determined, and you'll find what you are searching for. Remember, the most successful traders are often the most optimistic and the poorest reality creators. Do you know what they try to do? This concept is called power versus force. People who stuck at reality creating and they always blame external circumstances. They look at the mirror and they try to shatter the mirror or they try to shake the mirror to try to change it. The reflection they are seeing, they try to only take massive action and they just stop fighting. And what they do inevitably is to burn themselves down to the ground. The fuel that they are operating on is very weak. If you have a positivity and you're focused on a higher vibration, you know how to control yourself internally and how to tap into it all the time. And guess what? You're going to be run by power, not force. And this is great concept of power versus force that I learned from David R. Hawkins. And he basically says that power seeks not to impact the world directly, force seeks to impact the world directly. Force is win-lose. When I try to benefit by making someone else lose. Power is win-win. It seeks to benefit the world and benefit yourself because you too are part of the world. So in this instance, I always remind myself, what is the power move? Instead of trying to tackle the obstacle directly and trying to take massive action to tackle whatever obstacle I'm going through, I actually pause and remind myself, what's happening? What image am I presenting that's leading to this reflection? Let's change that image first and then do what's necessary in that moment. And 99% of the time, problem gets solved. Has it ever happened to you? Have you ever noticed when something becomes really important? Let's say you have a goal to do 10 million in revenue a month or a million in revenue a month in your business, or like you started something and then it became so important for you to make $100,000 a month. And every single thing you do is just so important. This game has become so intense and so important that you just keep facing setback after setback after setback, like everything that seems to go wrong about at that moment. What I want you to do is take a step back and just assess yourself. What's the image I'm presenting to the mirror? What am I putting on a pedestal that's causing this? All the obstacles will disappear as soon as you lower your importance to what focus you're giving. So the final thing I want to share with you is what's known as the mirror cycle. There is a cycle that most people experience with the mirror, and successful entrepreneurs know how to use a cycle and where to begin this cycle. I made a free movie on outlines of all this and also access to my flagship program of 510 victory beliefs which every billionaire has. It's a one-on-one work with me where I reconstruct your beliefs through my energy work in a complete done-for-you model. The only one you will find on this planet. You can literally just click here and access to this movie. Now in this movie, I also talk about one of the most powerful ways to make a shift in your reality, which is by using the fourth principle of the mirror, which is your attitude towards your identity. This is how I made an identity shift from being in debt of over 6 crores back in 2012 to being a top realtor and now a successful coach. As soon as I changed my identity and how I viewed myself. So in this movie, I detail all of that for you. This is my life's work. I've spent the past 15 years developing this system and have over 1,000 clients that have actually watched this firsthand. So go ahead and watch that. So click right here and access to it, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.